Oh, it is about that time. For those of you that are just joining us, hello and welcome to DreamLeague Season 26. We've got Boom Esports here versus Liquid in a very exciting series. Good drafts from both teams, but one of them will need to get some wins here as Liquid currently sitting in 6th in their groups. Liquid's at 5th. Boom is at 4th. So very evenly matched, at least according to that. But looks like Insania, I didn't quite read the logs there. What did he say is happening?
His router is lagging, so he's got to go reset it. He has to leave the room. He's making sure to follow all the rules, communicate well. So I'm sure he'll be back in just a moment. Give us a second.
We can use that time to do what?
Break
what do you
down
want
the
to
game
do?
a little bit. We can talk about the game, and then depending how long it takes, we can get into Unhinged Dota ideas. I've got a couple new ones to share with you.
We should just do those first.
Okay, you want to do those first?
Yeah, let's do Unhinged Dota ideas first.
All right, so I've been thinking about what I like seeing in pro matches. Currently, I'd say the base meta is like, do well in lanes, you rotate to the power runes, water runes, you try to take the mid into like the wisdom shrines, set yourself up, early towers, early items, and then you go Tormentor, Rosh, Tormentor, Rosh. And every time you have Rosh, you like push objectives. Every time you don't, you like wait, repeat that cycle. And that's cool and all, but it's kind of linear. The most interesting trade-off to me is when one team goes for Tormentor, which any team can, as long as you bring like 4 heroes. I'd say any composition can, but some heroes are better at it, especially when you have negative armor. Those same heroes can also threaten Roshan early. So I find it interesting when we have games where it's like, oh, Beastmaster's going for Tormentor, we have TA, let's go steal Roshan, right? And it becomes this idea of two different objectives that are both viable. One's maybe a little better in the Roshan, I would say. Both are viable, and depending on your draft, you could threaten that. But very few drafts can actually threaten Roshan early. So I would love a new objective that is different, where negative armor is good versus Tormentor and Rosh, but like we need a magic damage objective. We need a damage over time objective, and that way when one team goes set up for Tormentor, you could choose to fight that if you also have a draft good for that, or you could be going for this other objective somewhere else. The unhinged part, which is not necessary for everything I just said, but I would love if this objective moves around on the map. I think that would be very fun because it makes the game more dynamic. Where right now, Tormentor and Roshan technically move homes, but like it's very brief and no one does Roshan while it's moving. I need a moving objective so that you can't just say like, oh, let's go set up top and put all our wards and sentries there. No, you don't know where this objective is going to be. You got to be ready to move and fight as it goes. That's what I want to see. That's the chaos of Dota fights that we're lacking right now.
So what I'm hearing is we kind of want to bring back a little bit of roaming, but also this like idea that you can just grief one of your lanes and just run around the map trying to find this objective. Now, I think that could be really good. It'd be funny if there was no actual designated spawn location and it is just it's in a random spot of the map, excluding the base, and you just have to find it. And there's no hint, nothing. It's like the first team to find it is, just put a treasure hunt in the game, basically.
Exactly. It's the dynamic aspect of the game, which especially when patches get long, and the game gets older, one of the complaints people have is sometimes it feels a little formulaic. It's like, oh, Ringmaster's available, pick Ringmaster. These heroes are good, ban those heroes. Go for Tormentor, it's too good to pass up, can't do anything else, we must go for Tormentor. That level of creativity and adjusting on the fly is, it's there a little bit, what runes you get, how the lanes go, you adapt. But I think a moving objective, which isn't like, oh, it always spawns here, so just go there and snipe it at the start. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking, you got to scout it. It's like, oh, it's spawning here this game for the first. Oh, it's spawning over here this game. And now you have to suddenly adapt your drafts. Like, wait, we were losing that lane. Now we're not going to be in a good spot to fight for that. So we have to like bring a lot of attention there, right? That kind of way you adjust into a game. Arguably different game from Dota. I get that. It all depends on the game design you want. But I would love something like that because I do think it would encourage roaming to come back rather than the 2-1-2 static lanes that we've had for quite a while. Even though I know with the power runes and everything, the supports do leave at the pro level quite a lot. It's really not rewarded at all in pub games, so it's very rare to see it pay off, except for like the grief version of that, which is I don't want to support, I'm jungling. That's not what the people want, you know? It wants to feel legitimately good to have someone rewarded for moving around.
All right, you want my unhinged take?
Yeah.
You can only stack camps once.
Ooh, ever? Or like
there can only be 2 sets of creeps in a camp at one time. Like I actually think we have gotten a little lost in the sauce with stacking, right? We're at a point now where it's like, oh, let's just I mean, here's the thing. It feels good to stack, and I get that. I do. But I think it's also really boring at times where we're like, guys, our game plan is to literally sit back and stack these 4 camps, and then we'll clear them all. And then we just go back to farming. And you're like, God, come on, do something.
It's
but
very true. Yeah.
I think
we're
it would
gonna see
be
it this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little bit of foresight into this game. I think it would be amazing to make it so that camps can't be stacked more than once, not forever, for clarity, but like you said, only once at a time. So like you can stack it once, there'll be 2 sets of creeps, and then if you try to stack it again, nothing happens. I think it also makes it interesting for the warding game. Like you don't know if your camps are blocked or not, or if there's wards near them, so you're not gonna get like D wards, or you're gonna spend less sentries trying to block camps type of thing. But B, it also just gets rid of this annoying meta of like a support's job is to just sit there and stack, and now other supports get to be more meta because we're not having to play things like Coddle, an Ancient Apparition, and Shadow Demon because they're just the best stacking heroes in the game, right? I think for too long the meta has actually revolved around stacks. So I'm hoping that's my unhinged take. Get rid of it or punish it somehow. Like the stacks are worth 50% gold in experience now or something.
I actually really like that idea. Let's see, we have a little bit more time to talk about it. Well, currently it looks like we got some smokes going on, but it doesn't. Oh, actually, they might run into V2 in here.
Hold up, top lane, V2. Okay,
get out of here, V2. And I want to talk about stacking.
I was like, next question.
Thank God.
What if we don't talk about the game at all and we just keep rambling about unhinged Dota takes? Do you think ESL will be happy with us for that?
Look, we'll talk about the fight here. When they're laning and everyone's just laning, I'm going to get back to this stack idea. Because it is going to be relevant in this game, actually. But for now, it looks like they're going to scout each other out. And yeah, nothing happened in the end. Okay, we're back to it. It actually will lead to a 3-for-1. Yeah, that's always nice for a team. It's not as crazy as 4-0 at least. So, Boom Esports, they'll be okay. The stacking, to wrap up the thoughts real quick before it gets too crazy, I agree where the stacking has become part of the reason you don't need to roam, and it's not worth it because like, oh, why go through the jungle now when I could go through it later and it's been stacked. So it doesn't matter if I clear it now. We have a set spawn time and the support is making it so I don't have to go there right now. That's part of the reason you don't need a jungler and or roamer, because it doesn't matter when you do the stacks as long as you eventually do them. So I do like the idea that there's a limit. It's like we're losing efficiency until you come over here. And that does encourage having someone who moves around and does it a little sooner. Okay, something very interesting here is that we did swap lanes though. Sven came down here and Medusa's in the safe lane.
Okay, that is a little bit odd to me. Because I thought like Coddle Dusa would be a pretty strong lane, but yeah, I guess they are just gonna go for that.
I bet it has to do with the Timbersaw versus Sven. Though some of it could also be the reflection being good versus Medusa to some degree. Though I'd say less good. That's really good versus carry Medusa as opposed to offlane Medusa, which is probably part of the reason they chose to do offlane Medusa instead of carry Medusa. But we talked about this Timbersaw being a good pick because we wanted to keep pressure onto the Sven. And yeah, meta is scary, but once you relax it, like relaxing this time, wait for it to end. Sven, I don't think is that threatened by a Terrorblade.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's actually a really good point. I'm trying to think if there's like something about the. I guess they just really don't want the Sven into the Timbersaw. Like even though this isn't a great lane, I guess the Timbersaw lane they just view as being far worse.
I mean, you're a melee strength hero into a Timbersaw here, right? Like it's gonna be scary, and it's gonna be much easier to set up shackles on a Sven than it is a Medusa who's got the ranged and can be further back.
Oh my gosh, Boxy is getting absolutely destroyed by that creep camp. It was the ghost and the trolls. He lost like almost 2/3 of his health to it.
You gotta be careful of those for sure. Oh, looks like this lane's not easy peasy either. They are trying to do some creep dragging and such, so still taking a little bit of a beating. This is a tricky situation with a stand-in. Like if you play standard Dota, that's the easiest, but now you're gonna do like a lane swap plus wacky lanes. That's where all the practice as a team and as a laning duo pays off. So it's a little bit of a struggle right now here for them. We see Sven towards the bottom. Keeper picking up some of the last hits though. And that is a hero who, if he gets a strong start, is pretty good. Oh my goodness.
Yup.
Okay,
He doesn't have Timber Chain yet, actually, so Jabs won't be able to finish that kill. 2 points in the, you know, whirling death is the reason he took so much damage in the first place, but really nice stuff there.
That's true. Yeah, you have Timber Chain and you can chase, but maybe don't do enough damage now. Either way, you do zone him out, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to get a kill every time. Just getting someone out of the lane is still very good. And getting a free courier while you were back there looking for him. That was a null talisman on a Medusa, which is a lot of tankiness in the early game.
We haven't really talked about the mid lane here. Pretty even. Armel with a very slight advantage at the moment, but overall, kind of what we'd expect from a Tiny versus Sand King lane. Both these heroes pretty difficult to push out. I think typically Tiny has a little bit more harassment just from the avalanche spam. Which we can actually see right there. Yep. But overall, Armel doing a pretty dang good job sitting at 24-5.
This is like a bulky earth type mid lane here where it's just a race to the blink dagger, which usually I'd say would favor Sand King, who has more natural farming speed. But when you do have this Keeper of the Light, who can set up stacks for you, give you chakra magic, that could help make the difference where these blink daggers are actually quite similar. And of course, we'll have to see what 6-minute runes end up coming up and if there's ever a solo kill, but I do think it's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage again there from Nisha. And the other thing too is Armel is just going to go treads, it looks like, on his Sand King. And bottom lane, we're going to see finally a fight breakout as first blood for Tim's. Insania getting a little bit too far forward. A V-tune. Caught here from the Blood Grenade, and Jackie Boys on the Terrorblade will have plenty of damage to try and finish this one off. Just needs one more auto attack. 2 dead for Liquid in the bottom lane here.
Trying to bring the rotation in, but meta is pretty scary, so if you don't get the kill quickly, once the rotations come in, you're actually just forced to retreat. I guess they're trying to get something done since Saberlight's pretty much fine on his own. It's not like Insania's really needed up there, so they're trying to get something going.
Yeah. I feel like if you're, as much as I literally hate saying this because I just talked about how I want this to change, I think you just start stacking. Like, I really think you just start stacking on.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. It is what it is.
Right, like your spend is not gonna have a great start. Like that's just guaranteed based off of the picks and the way the draft works. So I think you just need to start getting the triangle built for him so that he can get towards, you know, his first farming item, things like Mask of Madness, and then put that God Strength to use immediately.
Yeah, I agree. And Boxy does already have some going. I think there's a 3-stack of Hard Camp, 2-stack of Ancients. And he's going to get another round here as he heads over to the Wisdom Rune, which there is an Invis Rune from Sand King. He's heading into the triangle. He might just steal this stack. It's too late to go for the Wisdom Shrine.
Yeah, looks like he will be taking the heart. Well, is he? No, he's staying invis. He wants to.
They want to see if they can get something.
This would be an interesting attempt here from Armel, and there's just the epicenter from Fog. The burrow strike in, tries to push him back with blinding light, but that will be a kill onto Vtune. Good plays there from the Sand King. Could have gone for the stack, but this just slows down that Sven even more as he's now close to the Shadow Shaman in net worth.
And why not go for the stack after you get the kill? Never mind, they're too scared. They're gonna walk away. Actually, I thought they wouldn't do that. It is hard, I will say, as a Sand King. Sandstorm is very consistent damage, but it's not like the highest damage in the world. So as Liquid, you can actually just watch, and then as everything gets low, throw out an Avalanche Toss or Illuminate, and then end up stealing most of the... It's not really stealing, it's your own stack, but like, you know, the Sand King does most of the work, and you finish. Yeah, there we go. Secure this kill on Insania here from Januel. Gets a Brain Drain stack there. He's already up to 3. We often talk about Silencer, Feast or Famine Hero. Currently in Feast mode. Hope we don't jinx that. But doing pretty well. This lane swap so far, I mean, it's paid off for the Medusa. She's farmed, but look at this Terrorblade. 4.8, about to break 5K soon.
Yeah, pre 9 minutes. That is.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is going to be here for this Sven. I don't even think he gets to play carry anymore. I think you actually have to have Saberlight build like Manta into like Aghanim Scepter or something this game, because I don't think your Sven's going to bring the damage.
I was thinking about that earlier in the laning stage before he committed to the Meteor on the Medusa. It's like, well, couldn't you actually just do Medusa carry and then this Sven off lane, which is not really a thing anymore, but like, you know,
better
if you've got like 10 last hits at the start, you know, maybe you gotta. But he's already committed to the Meteor, so I think it's a little too late for that. And it might also be really hard with a stand-in. You know, if like, hey, can you stand in and also play a different role? Like, it's getting really out there.
Carry, but hear me out.
Hear me out. What if I was carry?
Boxy flanked by... Okay, that was actually such a calculated TP. He's like, I had exactly this much time to channel. Never even worried. 5,500 net worth for the Terrorblade at 10 minutes. That is an unbelievable score for Jackie Boys, as he's got his Yasha completed. He will continue to pull away. I don't see how anyone catches him at this point, because Medusa is not going to be the farming hero that we typically see out of Medusa, since this is essentially an offlane Medusa. And well, the Sven, he's less than half the net worth of the Terrorblade.
You do have good heroes to kill the Terrorblade because his health pool is not that high. Typically, though, when you're this farmed, it's getting up there pretty quickly. But I think there's still a window where Avalanche Toss twice, because you have Chakra Magic, with like ET Astral Spirit can kill him. You get a couple kills in a row, you slow him down. But like you said, at this rate, it's a small window, and the blink is actually still quite far away for the Tiny. So yeah, you might be right. Maybe they'll never catch up.
Yeah, this
Blink's
is where it's
on
like
the way for Sand King with an amplified damage.
This is where I'm just so confused with the Medusa as well. We'll get to it in a moment, but they will look to dive Saberlight here as the meta comes out, just try and force him off the lane and just take this tier 1 tower. The Medusa needs to use Meteor Hammer. Like, absolutely must use Meteor Hammer. Armel with the blink, actually off with the Burrow Strike, and it might keep Boxy alive as the Epicenter nearly finishing the job, but Jabs will do it instead. Saberlight forced to pop the Stone Gaze and disengage. They get the tower. Just like that, another big win here for Boom. As I say, the Medusa needs to use Meteor Hammer, and when you're in the safe lane, you're as far away from a tower as you could possibly be. So you're never getting to use this thing.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. She did hold that lane, they just lost it at, you know, almost 12 minutes, let's say. If it was a Sven, that lane would have dropped way sooner. It would have been like 8 minutes where you just get kicked out. So in that sense, I see the value of the Medusa. But then counterpoint, you look at the Radiant save lane, and that's a near full health tower. It looks like it took one creep hit it a single time. And that usually would have fallen a lot sooner if you had the Medusa off lane instead.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up going. I know we're spelling a lot of doom and gloom here for the side of Liquid, but maybe they'll be able to turn around a little bit of a rough start here. I mean, overall, they're not too far behind in gold. It's about 3,000 here at 12 minutes. Like, that's not the worst we've seen. But Jabs is incredibly strong here on this Timbersaw. They're actually going to bring a lot of heroes top. Global Signs comes out. Tiny gets trapped inside of the wards. And Jabs, well, if they get this kill on Tanisha, to be massive problems here for the side of Liquid. Great stomp, and they actually get the kill with a blood grenade. Very funny stuff there from Liquid as they bring Saberlight back into the top lane as well.
This type of playmaking will always be a potential avenue for Liquid to get back into the game. The surprise rotations and angles you can get with the recall on the Keeper's Light, especially if you can get the shard for him at 15 minutes so that he doesn't have to buy it. He's actually rushing this Aghanims. If he can get away with this, get the shard from the Tormentor, buy this Aghanims, that's a lot of power on the Keeper Light, and you don't know where it's going to show up. He could be smoked on your side of the map. He could be bringing people to defend. Timbersaw pushing aggressively. You don't know, and that's where you might feed a couple kills to Liquid to get them fully back in the game. With that said, it's only a 1k gold difference, so actually, you know, it's not too bad. It's mostly just this Terrorblade that's really scary.
They know exactly where VTune is right now. They're like, guys, he's got to be over here farming. We haven't seen this guy in quite a while. In comes the Epicenter. That being said, the Shadow Shaman was not ready to go for this, so Armel, the Blink Bro Strike Epi, just doesn't really connect onto the Sven. They do steal the Wisdom Shrine. They will get away. All right. Question is, are they away completely as Boxy pops the pig out, trying to pull in some heroes? He actually pulls in Nisha. The stomp is there. Here comes the Earth Splitter, but where's the rest of the damage? It's, oh my goodness, they got him. That is quite the burst coming in from Liquid. Now, can you get more? Armel does have the blink. He's safe now. Avalanche here connecting onto Tim. Genwell has the global silence hiding off to the side. Okay, the crash landing damage with the Spirit, we're starting to see it do its work. Tim's has foul play available, but the Avalanche should set this one up. Just needs one auto attack there from Saberlight. And Liquid are now back in the game.
Yeah, they'll get this tier 1 tower off of this, and then probably a straight to Roshan, unless they want to look for a little bit more.
That's a global. Tiny, maybe in a little bit too far, but they need the damage to finish him off, and they're too afraid. Saberlight pops the Stone Gaze. Now, Nisha, he's going to burn out to the Silencer. 2 dead. Wait, I didn't even know V-Tune showed up. V-Tune's dead. Jackie Boys just killed him in the bottom lane.
I think it was the Timber damage, actually. I think they were
was it
up.
I didn't even.
They got deleted so quickly you couldn't even see it, which was, yeah, I gotta say, a little bit of a surprise. I didn't think Liquid would go for more like that. I thought they would just take the tower, which would have been a much safer position. Now, having lost those 2 heroes, yeah, they commit the ward. Everyone's pretty low here, but they are getting the Tormentor for the Silencer. Not the best, but at least you're taking it away from Liquid. And if you can get out of here, it's really good. They're sticking around, and they're all low health, though.
Here we go again. Boxy's gonna bring in the Tiny. Sunder out. That's unfortunate. The stomp off the mark. Jackie was able to dodge that Earth Splitter. Now, can they might be able to chase him down. They got the spells, and they do. All right, ends up being worth it. Boxy just self-sacrificed to get his team. It was pretty close. Tiny almost didn't get the reload in before the Coddle died. That was almost a heads-up play there from Jackie.
Both teams sticking around.
Look at the timing on this.
Too long. Yeah, good Thunder. Oh, right, real close. Almost got a support double kill. I don't think he saw both of them together.
Yeah.
And it looked a little close, but a little help from this neutral here.
Yeah, dude.
He's helps get this
tendrils, man.
Terrorblade kill. Man, they use tendrils more. They use their abilities more than any other creep, and I don't know why, but they like splashing in the water.
Yeah, it was like they're just in their home territory, man. Like they love playing around in the rivers, and we came into their land and they ain't having it.
And Nisha, he's been making a lot of plays for his team, of course, getting help from the supports. He's gonna go for the Echo Saber build, the more traditional right-click damage. And I kind of get it because the Sven is struggling, so you might need more from the Tiny. But at the same time, I actually like the idea of the utility build with the Chakra Magic and with the Astral Spirit, as well as a way to deal with the silence.
I'd also like to point out this is just level 1 natural order in terms of the damage that we're seeing from the combo of the Tiny Elder Titan. So it will get a little scarier here as Nisha goes in with the Avalanche. There's the Spirit, but a nice global response. Trapped him inside the wards, epicenter as well. Boom, we're ready and waiting.
Huge commitment, but you do get the Tiny mid, which has been leading the way for Liquid, which is kind of what got him killed there. Good use of the global. What else can you get out of this? You've already taken the tower here. So it looks like they're just going to push up, head over mid. You don't have Serpent wards to help you take this tower.
There's a lot of magic damage out here from Saberlight, actually. There's the Stomp as well. The Earth Splitter, I think they may have killed him. The Stone Gaze, yes, they did. What a pickoff.
Very well done. He was not expecting that damage.
How often do you think a support an offlane Medusa with this magic build? I mean, it is a lot of magic damage that comes out, but
there's just that amount, right? There's just that amount, which got him down to the last third, so his calculations on that were right, but he didn't expect the sleep into the Earth Splitter, which finished the last third of his health.
Dude, they're getting a lot of value out of Instania's Elder Titan right now. He's played it very impressively. Avalanche into the toss. The Aghanim Scepter now done from Boxy. They're gonna try and chase down Jackie Boys. He gets the sleep, but there's the Thunder. The Stormhammer dodged by the Manta. V2 looks like he will survive just off a sliver of HP. So Liquid do get the kill they were looking for, and V2 will go back to farming.
That was almost such a sick play.
Armel. Oh, I think he walked right under a courier. They know. Do they?
Ooh, doesn't know quite.
He saw him, did he? Am I blind?
Was he? I don't know. Maybe he was like through the trees or something. Nope, does get a courier for his efforts, but that was so close to being awesome for Boom. The Manta dodge into the Sunder was sick, and he almost gets at least a carry trade. Though I'd say that still favors Liquid since Terrorblade's doing so much better. If Sand King could have found the return kill, it again kind of almost would have balanced out, but just some near misses for Boom.
Yeah.
Gonna just lose them their carry without anything to show for it.
Got the Atos into the Gleipnir coming for the Elder Titan, which pretty big item, to be honest. Like, this is one of those things that... Oh. Sorry, Sinsania. That one might be on me. But pretty big item for this hero. Increased AoE on, you know, all of his spells is massive.
It's also nice versus the Terrorblade. Control up some of those illusions. Hit all of them at once.
Radiant are scanning.
Right. Roshan is doable for both teams, but you do have to respect your opponent. You got to find a pick off, maybe like
Dude, no way did Armel just steal this. Pops the BKB, just gonna walk away. Burrow Strike into... I don't think he's getting out of this, but a very funny... Dude, blink 1 second. Nisha's gonna chase. Nisha has no blink, does he? Unreal. I cannot believe Armel just did this.
Well, he may not have finished the escape quite yet.
This is stupid, man. This is so much space. This is unreal. Avalanche. He's not in range for the toss. Oh my goodness. All right. What a sick burrow strike.
Where was that Liquid Fan Tendrils from before? That would have helped
Dude,
them finish the
seriously.
Sand King. That one's a Boom fan. Unfortunate. Boom wasn't a fan of, you know, they cleared out that old can. I was like, Liquid fans here, get out. Get a Boom fan in here. Well, with that, it kind of works out. You steal the Shrine. I will say the third Wisdom Shrine is not as significant compared to like the level 6 timings for support from the first one. So having to use BKB and Epicenter and everything and like not only getting the Shrine but not getting a kill was probably not worth it until it then bought like a million days of space on that chain.
Ooh, nice Aghanim Scepter usage there. There's the Global Silence that comes out. They're trying to find their targets. Armel, he's gonna get the Epicenter off and they just destroy the Keeper of the Light. Nisha has that BKB protecting him, but it's gonna expire here in about a moment. Armel will get the stun. The toss aggressively forward. That puts him in a rough position. The Earth Splitter just deletes him. Now the Silencer does have his dots on the Tiny. I don't know if it's enough to find the kill, but it will be close. Nisha survives on just 100 HP. They're looking for this Terrorblade. Jabs comes in, gets V2. Nisha gets chopped down. Tims on the low ground. Hex into the Shackle. No, the Stone Gaze cancels it, but they just take out the Sven anyway. Jabs is becoming a real issue. He gets that Aghanim Scepter off just before the initiation.
I wanna highlight reel later of Jackie dodging every single Stormhammer so far with the Manta, allowing him to sunder in these fights, which is so critical for a Terrorblade. Like once you pop meta and you are standing and fighting, if you get burst, I mean, it sounds obvious, but like you can't do anything after that, right? And that's where we see so many Terrorblades fall flat, which you're this high damage hero, but low health, and so you're this glass cannon. So the fact that he is so consistently dodging stuns in the middle of fights and getting the Sunder off to give him more life and get these return kills, actually they just won the fight. It's so important for the carry.
We're gonna see the Radiance picked up on the Medusa as well. This has become a lot more popular recently as well.
It'll also be very good versus this Terrorblade.
Yeah.
It's a really close game. Exactly what we were hoping to see.
Yeah, I mean, the Sven, he's completely back, right? Like we were, you know, talking early about how he's having a borderline impossible game, but they did make a lot of space in that mid game. And this is where it's like going back to the Medusa itemization. This is where the Meteor Hammer ends up making sense, right? They would not have found the kills that they did. They would not have been able to make the space that they did if it was the standard carry Medusa, right? And I think it ends up kind of working out in the end.
Yeah, and the further it goes, well, hopefully for Liquid, the more we'll see it pay off on why they swapped. Swapped roles. I don't know about the lane swap in the end, but the Reflection would have been very good versus a carry Medusa as she scales up and would always give you something to play around. But it doesn't do much for a Medusa offlane, and it doesn't do much for a Sven carry. So Terrorblade will just have to do the damage on his own rather than depend on any of the illusions he gets from Reflection. They're going to go for the next Tormentor as it spawns here. At that time, they got the Tormentor, which was kind of worth it, but it went to Silencer, which is actually not usually great. With that said, he's been involved in quite a few kills and is actually at 23 Brain Drain, which is more than we usually see for the entire game, let alone it being 26 minutes.
I did not realize it was that much. I knew it was a decent amount, but 23 Brain Drain stacks, that is... Yeah, that adds up for sure. I mean, that's the difference between him being able to use a refresher and double global, right? Like, we talk about a lot of times, like, Silencer's abilities are very expensive, so if you want to play for, like, a refresher on this hero, you either need to invest into more mana, or you just have to actually have stolen enough mana at that point in the game.
Yeah, I know he's last on net worth for his team, so it doesn't seem that crazy, but this This is a richer silencer than usual.
Yeah.
Even silencers on winning games usually are not this, don't have this much farm and certainly don't have this much brain drain. Like if you think about it, if you had to buy this amount of intelligence, it's like 1,000 gold for a wizard staff to get 10, you know? So it's like 2,000 free gold on this hero right now.
Yeah. They're looking to go in aggressively. Tim's comes in, gets the Hex, the Shackle's coming through, trying to just bring down the spend, but there's the BKB, the Avalanche to cancel Tim's Shackle. He's still got the foul play to buy him a moment, but he will end up dying. Saberlight here, trying to get in the center of this fight, but now losing a lot of his mana and might need some help as there's the reflection. Doing some work, jabs, does he want to chase? He's not going to. It's a 1-for-1 trade. 4 position for 4 position, but with Roshan on the table and Liquid out of gas, this one's gonna go the way of Boom.
Still have Earth Splitter. If you can run over, you can delay this. It's just really difficult because Boom has set up vision. They're posturing aggressively because TB can do Rosh on its own, trying to keep Liquid off.
Oh, well, yeah, Liquid in some trouble here. BKB actually comes up from Armel just to make sure he's not going to get caught in these chain stuns. Heads up play for him. Meanwhile, Jabs going aggressively, still has that Ags going. Good amount of burst damage here on Tanisha, but V-Tune's going to pop the ult. There's the chains, the combo in from this Saberlight Medusa, but there's V-Tune once again just hacking through these heroes. That epicenter with the silencer almost kills him, but the heals from the Coddle should sustain it for now. Maybe you should have stayed in the Roche pit, Boom. It's hard to say, but this one gonna hurt. As they look to go even further onto the high ground, Boxy continuing to just dump mana into his team. He will pull V-Tune back in off of a recall as well.
God Strength just ended, so I don't know if you actually have the damage to get Roshan after this. They're pinging it. Maybe they're thinking about it, but V-Tune's not there, so it looks like Roshan will continue to live for now. They're looking top.
See if I break it out in the top top side of the map here. Shadow Shaman, where is he? I don't even know where he is.
He forced Steph down off the cliff. He's running out of there.
Oh,
both teams know
okay.
Roche can happen, so everyone's trying to posture top right now. Just find a kill that lets you actually secure Roche safely. Both teams have such good AoE around the pit. It is so scary to just go for it if you don't have a good kill. And they scan onto Medusa. She's pretty tanky, but very isolated.
They can kill her. Okay, they're just gonna ignore her and go top, look for someone else.
You don't know where the others are, so if you commit to a Medusa and the rest of the team is nearby, you're screwed.
They'll settle for an Elder Titan. And then Boxy's gonna try and bail him out. The global silence is there, and Armel will finish the job, but he will likely lose Tim's here. Oh, maybe not. Gets the foul play proc, and Nisha just throws the tree to finish the job. Boxy cleaned up here by Jackie Boys, and now V-Tune. He might get some help, but again, we've seen him dodge stun after stun here on the Terrorblade as Jabs trying to force this BKB out of this spin. He will not get it.
Meantime, it looks like bottom lane pushed in, so they actually went back to defend. I don't know if it needed 2 core heroes for this. Liquid does not manage to find anyone remaining here.
Roche went bottom, though, I think is the idea.
That's true. Yeah,
So
you're right.
they want to just start pushing out bottom and get the lanes in a good spot. 'Cause, yeah, right, I think that's what we've been seeing is like both teams kind of playing on, or at least Boom trying to force things to happen on the Roshan side of the map. I think they just feel stronger, and if they get a fight, maybe they can transition it into Roche. I thought we would see that before, but they ended up, pushing for a couple extra heroes there, end up kind of dying, but right now, they're actually not in a good place to contest Roshan at all. The Radiant Scan does connect. So they might think Roshan is happening.
Timbersaw's proven to be very tanky, so as long as he's the one you find, You should have enough time to respond. If you catch the silencer, though, that's a different story. Much squishier, and the global is part of the reason that they can protect jabs.
You managed to get on top of the Timber Saw. The global silence will protect him. He will just go ahead and pop the reactive armor to make sure he's not going to die here.
You didn't really commit much on Liquid for that.
Yeah,
no
you did.
Global now. They're beelining over to Roshan.
Jackie Boys wants to finish his butterfly. It looks like he's closing in on it. But with the God Strength, V2 should clean this up pretty fast.
Keep the illusion on the pit, so they don't know how low Roshan is.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Boom, maybe falling a little bit asleep at the wheel here as the Roche. I mean, this is the big attempt. They're gonna be able to find themselves the Elder Titan with the shackles in from this Shadow Shaman, and Saberlight's just gonna put himself in the front line, and well, Roche, it's dead. One more auto attack from V2, and he cleaves it down, gets himself the Aegis. The question is, does Boom decide to fight still? There's no God Strength. V2 pausing the game. Suska.
At this point, Boom has nothing to fight for here. Should just back out, in my opinion. You don't have global. Epicenter is strong. You do have the Shivas. It's the recently finished Butterfly, right? They do have some strong items here, but I guess there's no God Strength, but I don't think that's worth it to fight just because he doesn't have that. They could disagree. We'll see if they commit here. Medusa's kind of far up, but she's got the Coddle way in the back.
They better run at them. You just popped meta for this. Your Sand King is here. You should go. I think you can. Legitimately, if your Sand King like blink stun Saberlight right now, Nisha has to toss him backwards because I think they will kill him before the Stone Gaze goes off. Does Sand King have blink stun is my follow-up question.
Blink is on cooldown for 2 seconds. And I don't know. I think it's really risky because you're coming into a choke point at that staircase. Astral Spirit's up in 5. Echo Stomp's available. Earth Splitter's available. Seems really risky. You're banking the fight on no God Strength and Will-O-Wisp being down. I'm not convinced that's enough when you're 4v5 with no global.
I want to see Chaos do something. Armel, get in there. All right, I hate this.
They're doing something smart. They know. They just got to wait a little bit. They can still take fights. Like, they lost Aegis, sure, but Sven is not the best Aegis carrier. If he uses God Strength beforehand, it's just, you know, you respawn, but you don't have it, you lose so much damage. So you just gotta find yourself a better fight than that one there. Wait for your spells to be up. Go look for the smaller pickoffs like they've been trying to do, but have yet to cleanly find, I would say. A lot of their attempts, Liquid was in decent position to trade or only lose like a support.
I am curious what the next timing they want to play for on Boom is, because they are closing in on some really big level 20 talents, like the Sand King, obviously one of the best 20 talents and 25 talents in Dota. It's one of the reasons this hero is so popular right now, because it doesn't just have early game presence, but it scales incredibly well.
You do need the Ags for that though, and he actually went for BKB Shivas, has the Ags queued up now, but still needs 3,000 gold for it.
Yeah, and he's just hitting his 20, so that will be available. Gets the base and incremental increases in the radius of Epicenter. And Nisha is now going back for the utility, so like you said earlier, went for kind of a little bit of an aggro build, and now has himself... Is that a full Wind Waker or just a Eul's? And
he has the Eul's and an Octarine and BKB. Wind Waker queued though. Actually, I'm really glad he pivoted the build. I think this is really good this game.
Now, a lot of times for these mid tinies, we're seeing kind of the Blink, Force, Yules, Octarine as like the cores items for him though. Ooh,
in the
yeah,
wrong
he's running
neighborhood.
right into death. I mean, that's a good wraparound here from Boom. Now V-Tune will be able to clean up the Shadow Shaman. The question is, can they get anything more from this? Jabs, a pretty tanky hero, does have the BKB and the reactive armor, wants to chase. Great dodge on the burrow strike there from Nisha, and we'll turn around with an avalanche. He needs the BKB on Armel here. They do have an epicenter coming up in a moment, but with the rest of the team backing away, it looks like Boom will retreat into their base. Wait out the rest of this God Strength.
It's about to fade now. I don't think Liquid will push too hard without it. But you have enough time to wait for the next God Strength and go for another push. So in the meantime, if you can open up another tier 2, then you can threaten 2 racks at once off of a winning fight. And I think with the Medusa just sitting in the front, they should be able to get this even without the God Strength. I can't believe, man, remember this game started? Look at V-Tune fighting for the top network now with the Terrorblade.
It's inevitable with the Sven. This man is farming incarnate. Ward Sentry's gonna scout V-Tune. Saberlight will walk forward, hit it with the gem, take those wards out right away. I mean, they want to find Boxy, right? That's the big hero if they can grab him. Instead, they're gonna get their hands on the Shadow Shaman. A great Force Staff, and a second one will bail out Tims. They turn around with the Shackles, a Meteor Hammer. Funny enough, we'll be able to cancel this big epicenter in onto the backside, but V-Tune helps finish the kill with Insania's Earth Splitter, and now Jabs in a really rough spot here. Trying to finish off this hero. Sven, it's low. 40 seconds on the Aegis as well. Can they chase? Timbersaw goes in aggressively, blinks in. He just deletes the Tiny, and now Saberlight with a nice Gorgon's Grasp, but Jabs not stopping here. It seems the globals. Oh, what a shot from V-Tune. Crits down Jabs. The silencer will burn Insania as they continue to chase. Tims with a long shackle here. V-Tune coming in now on the Sven, looking for an opening, trying to bait out some heroes. Again, 19 seconds on that Aegis. He needs to be a little bit careful. Can't afford to lose this, but the chase continues on to Saberlight. The reflection is there. Will just burn these heroes. There's the Sunder. Tims gets him. In comes Boxy. A buyback from Insania as well. They've gone too far, and V-Tune, that Aegis, well, it's about to expire. He's going to get all of his health and mana back. Into the trees he goes. Tims force staffing away, and it looks like Liquid will end up finding what they wanted. Very good set of buybacks there from Insania, but also just keeping 2 very important heroes alive.
Can they get anything out of this, though? Because a support buyback to just kill a support isn't going to feel the best. But like you said, saving the Medusa and the Sven, pretty worth it. But if you can find this Sand King, ooh, baited by the illusion. All right, that'll be that. Actually, I don't even know if that was a bait, if he just wanted to kill it, maybe. The Revenant's Brooch is so good this game. You've got the high armor of the Terrorblade, but then part of the reason the Sven was able to kill Timbersaw is that I believe he got a magic crit to just do the last third of Timbersaw's health, which he certainly thought he was safe versus a Sven with how much armor he had in that fight. Ready to regroup whenever they need to. They've got another Spirit Form available. This tier 2 tower. It's been something they've been poking and prodding at for a while, but unable to actually take it quite yet.
Trying to get a little bit of their own vision established here and kind of remove what vision Liquid have placed with this gem. Saberlight will try his luck bottom. Going for this tier 2 tower instead of the mid one. Stadium's like, no.
Boom's trying to position top in this time. They're going to sack that bottom tower. See if they can find a pick off here. Or at least get set up for Or Roshan.
Two or Roche. I mean, Roche is going to spawn bottom, surely, right?
That is, yeah, it's daytime now.
Very close game, though. 23-19, almost no gold advantage. They are still sitting at the top of the net worth with this Terrorblade, but they need to start grabbing some more big items. Specifically on this Sand King, I feel like Armel, he needs some damage to start coming through from his spells.
Yeah, I actually think you should just avoid Liquid until you finish this Aghanims. It is such a big power spike on the Sand King, especially because he already has his level 20 talent. You need this. So
he's like 200 gold away.
Yeah, just
right, like,
let him go
just
farm.
let him get it.
I see the Disperser queued up onto the Terrorblade. I mean, he doesn't even have the Diffusal yet, but I do think that'll be really good, not only versus the Medusa, but being able to just move yourself around these fights to make sure you're doing damage is pretty important. Who's going to get this Tormentor?
Ooh, Boxy. Finally.
Finally getting the double recall.
All right, the Aghanim Scepter now on the Sand King. We'll see if this will make a difference in one of these upcoming fights. They can guess pretty heavily like where Liquid is, right? They just cleared Tormentor top. They're not seeing them push the lane. They're probably bottom here.
No Spirit.
Or they're smoking into them right now, right?
Oh, that's the tricky thing. With the Keeper, it could be either. And that's why they're being very cautious right now. I don't think they caught sight of the Astral Spirit.
Oh, Medusa?
Terrorblade?
Ooh.
Oh, he's going back in, actually.
I mean, is this the hero you want to go for? They're going to be able to just jump on her right away. Can they finish the damage, though? They just get the long duration shackles, and in comes Armel. They got him. The Medusa dead for 95, and V-Tune getting a lot of damage dumped in him just from this Jab's Timber Saw. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. If you can isolate the Medusa, you should have the damage on this Terrorblade.
Especially because he just finished the Diffusal Blade. So he was doing an insane amount of damage from the high ground onto that Medusa with the Shackle. It was so difficult for Liquid to get in there, especially with the Timber Saw and the Sand King. Just, okay, you guys have got the Medusa kill. We'll just push everyone else off. They don't know there's no buyback, but you're hoping Roche will spawn so you can go for it while Medusa's dead. Such a long spawn this time, though.
They're going to try and make a play to Jabs here. His reactive armor does get dispelled. He's forced to BKB. He's going to try and Timber Chain back towards his team. Blinks to safety. But Liquid not done chasing. An avalanche and toss again from Nisha, pulling him back. Another Hex V-Tune trying to get active. There's the Revenant. Does he get the crit? He's looking for it. He does. And my goodness, the Shadow Shaman, you're not living here.
They're losing the mid barrack.
God, the Glimmer Cape? I mean, surely he's dead.
Oh, they're getting the wrong way.
Hiding in the trees. Oh my God, what a gamer. So that's the Shard, being able to use items, right? While he took a rack.
Wow.
Jackie Boys just
right
took a
before
rack.
the illusion died, the last hit. So that's why you were able to find the kill on the Timber Saw. The rest of the team split up, but it's not like they were just AFK farming. They were pushing the mid lane. So this is a Terrorblade. Your base dies so quickly. You are going to get Roshan for this on Liquid. Mid lane, not the worst for their draft, since you do have a Keeper of the Light who can recall people in and out of the fights while you're dealing with the mid lane. You also have like the best wave clearing heroes ever. So that's like not too bad, but it does make it scary that if you lose a really bad fight, instead of going for megas, Boom could just run straight down the mid lane and try to end the game with a farm Terrorblade.
Well, V-Tune almost to his Monkey King bar. Gonna have his courier pick that one up here in just a second, deliver it on over. Aeon Disc for the Shadow Shaman. We're seeing how good one foul play Aeon basically is. Why not give him a second?
We see how effective the shackles can be. It got the Medusa killed to start this whole sequence of events. So making sure you live and you can get that stuff off is important. So now that the Wind Waker, I don't think they had the Wind Waker last time. So you'll be able to use this to potentially save whoever gets shackled.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The final tier 2, you have Aegis for 4 minutes.
Has fallen.
This is scary though. The high ground into a Terrorblade and a Sand King. The global, if you step up too far. He's up to 35 brain drain stacks now. He's actually doing a lot of damage with his ultimate when it comes out because he did go for the Aghanims.
Yeah.
I think
Refresher eventually.
I hope he will because, oh, there he goes. He just queued it up. Because they actually don't have that many dispels on the support side from Liquid. So if you get 2 refreshers, or 2 globals from a refresher, you're not going to get this Caudal spam. The Astral Spirit may not be there. Amplifying all the damage from the crash landing tosses.
They just baited the God Strength out. There was a bug a while ago with Refresher Ags on Silencer where you could like Arcane Curse an Ancient Camp and then press like Global Silence, Refresher and Global Silence, and it would apply to all the creeps on the map and instantly farm the entire map. Because every creep on the map would get hit by like 16 seconds of curse and die. I don't know if I'm sure it was
unaware
fixed.
of that. That's
sure it was fixed. But if it wasn't, it would be very funny.
Does that affect neutrals or just sorry, like lane creep?
It hits. No, it's just neutrals. It hits every neutral on the map.
Interesting. I'm sure that's what he's going for.
Yeah. I don't know if it was fixed. I don't think I've seen it happen, but
turns out that's the 60-minute timing Januel has been going for this whole time.
It's my favorite timing.
Hearing Signet. He's got the Ags. Now Refresher. What would the what's the tier? Oh, dude, what a way to farm the tier 5. Oh no, wait, you need to pick up the. What are they, mad villains?
It wouldn't like globally teleport to you think? I mean, technically you'll get
drop
one, but because like the camp dies, right? You'll get one, so.
But it drops the bundle on the floor if you're not there.
Yeah. Someone just walks by and there's just
casual neutral.
Little bundles of shards all over the map.
We are getting to that late game potential. If Liquid doesn't crack this game open with the remainder of this Aegis, I do think it's very likely we get to the 60 minutes.
And we've hit the 25 talents on the side of Liquid, right? Saberlight, Nisha, and VTune, all level 25. So Saberlight, a lot tankier here with the 40 intelligence, but as for like VTune, the big one, the God Strength damage, and Nisha now with the 2 toss charges, so a little bit more control in the fights, being able to chain stun some heroes or just get some like pretty wild tossbacks. That being said, Jab's actually going to be forced to PKP. There's a big epicenter catching these heroes. The Hex onto the Tiny, the Shackles as well. V2's dead as well. Looking for more. Boxy going to try and TP a Refresher. You're kidding me, Armel. Just ripping through the side of Liquid. Now looking for Saberlight as he's just booking it down the lane. And lucky for him, they will not find him. But that is a huge win.
We talked about the potential to just end the game because the mid-rack is already down. So you are going to force these buybacks. Meta, how long is Meta left? He's got a quarter of a duration left. So you are going to lose that, but he's got the Demon Zeal, so his pushing speed is still really strong. They're going to try to use just the ET Astral to delay this. But, I mean, look at this tower with the last little bit of meta already deletes the tier 3 tower. He's got so many illusions here.
Tiny has
your last
buyback,
fortify,
but
I don't think you can end the game here, but it looks like you can. Oh, no, wait, here's the buyback.
Hex, Stone Gaze. They're trying to stay on top of him. They do.
What a combo!
Your Terrorblade is dead, and V2 just leaves down the rest. What a play from Saberlight. The Blink Hex into Earth Splitter Stomp. That was so sick.
Okay, Liquid's turn. Go down, guys. Go into the AoE. Head in. You need to pick up a bounty rune. This Sand King is 30 gold away from buyback. He will have the epicenter, which was part of what led to the team wipe earlier. Liquid, having used the tiny buyback, though, you want to find something here. It's also pretty scary. You know you could lose the game in another bad fight, which maybe you wait for Roche, but it's also at minimum 2 minutes away. You gotta, I think you need to force a buyback here.
We'll see if they can. First one comes through here from the Sand King. V2 with a shield rune. No, there's no God Strength for 30 seconds, but they should be able to even out the lanes of Rax here. Fortification does come out. Should be able to clean up these catapults. And it will. Almost saved there by Boxy. Very close. But with this, afraid to engage her on the side of Boom, the Sand King, is the refresher up? Because that's the big thing. If he has the refresher...
It's still down 20 seconds.
Okay. Tiny's going Dagon. He should just bought like level 3 Dagon. Yeah.
His burst is a lot, actually. The spell Lifesteal will do quite a lot. You also have the Astral Spirit. It's a cool idea. There's so much armor between the Timbersaw and Terrorblade, and then there's like even a Shiva's on the Sand King, so Dagon will do quite a lot. This is a sick build. What's the cooldown? 15.8 seconds right now on Dagon level 3.
Hell yeah. I don't know who he's using it for, but
anyone he sees
will be funny.
Especially anyone with whom he could kill secure. Sorry.
Yes. How could you?
All right. As the team starts to just carefully wait for Roche, part of the reason Liquid lost that last fight at the enemy triangle is that Recall does give you a lot of global map pressure, but it's not instant. It does take time to show up. So they were on slightly different pages where the Tiny jumps in, you start the Recall, but the fight, with how quickly the damage comes out, the fight was almost over before Medusa could even join the fight. And it was, so then Medusa just gets out of there, right? That's where you need every hero available at once, as we're in this 50-minute game where heroes will die within a second if you are not there to immediately win Waker save, to global, like whatever you need to do. And so they have to be careful as they try to play around Recall. You've got to make sure your whole team is actually available before going for this stuff, especially Medusa, who is the tankiest hero for them to go to take the point and disrupt Boom trying to rush in.
This is the refresher here for Yanwell that was just finished. So this is a huge timing for them that they can catch Liquid off guard. They do not know he has this item. As the smokes gonna come out here, is trying to scout the high ground. They do manage to get the Hex here onto the Shadow Shaman. He's a big find if they can kill him. The Aeon Disc will protect him for now, as Jams will put his life on the front line here. Timber Chains out of the Will-O-Wisp. You gotta be careful because you know there's a Sand King lurking in the shadows here. And boy, is he scary. He'll back away. Here's the thing. Fighting Roche against Refresher level 25 Sand King sounds miserable.
It's so scary. At the same time, you can't clump up either because Avalanche Toss, Earth Splitter, Sven Cleave. We've seen the Revenant's Brooch, right? It's always going to be a way to bypass this armor, and it's just a roll of the dice. If he crits you while you're stunned, and it's a Revenant's Brooch crit, like half your health, if not more, is going to disappear. Sven's one of those heroes that can always win a game if your positioning slips up.
It's gonna be very funny to see how these pure cloaks influence the game, because there's like 4 pure
Life
cloaks.
is so hard here.
Yeah, so like someone's just gonna get pure cloaked and kill someone as they die.
Something we might actually see is if Sven jumps, like someone with a pure cloak, Sven jumps in, uses it on the Shadow Shaman, but Shadow Shaman gets the Hex on and they're trying to kill Sven. Sven might actually get freed from shackles by killing Shadow Shaman with pure cloak.
There's gonna be some funny stuff. So it's a good item. Refresher queued up here for jabs. I mean, he can buy it, but holding buyback at the moment. Can't really blame him.
Dagon 5 bought out from the Tiny. It is 11.3 second cooldown with his Octarine.
I love that.
800 burst for these high armor heroes. He didn't have buyback anyways. It's still down for 2 minutes, but he will have to farm up the money in that time.
Dude, you went Arcane Blink on Saberlight. This thing owns. Glimmer Cape. Hold on. I was like, are they looking to go aggressive? They get the Hex here onto the Shadow Storm, but the rest of them actually smoke behind. They don't know this. There's the scythe. They're able to just hold him down, but Jackie Boy's a little bit afraid to go in. Here's the first epicenter. The global silence doing some work as well. The second bro strike's done its job. Saberlight's dead as well. Up onto the high ground. They found Boxy. He needs to get out of here, but Tim's Hex up controls the Elder Titan as well. That is going to be 4 dead on Liquid. Oh my goodness, what a wraparound from Boom. And they still have a global.
There's no buyback on Tiny. If they kept track of the timer, they know. And in fact, ETs is also down for a minute. Do they dare push for the end? I think you should.
They have to. They have global and epi still. They have a whole nother set of spells.
They're not going though. They're debating. They might just get top racks. You can't get megas because the bottom tier 2 is still up. Maybe they didn't keep track of the buyback timer. I mean, it is tough to do in the middle of a fight, but you know it's soon, but not the exact time. That is when you make a decision like this.
Sven comes in, gets the stun. Does he burst
No
out?
way.
He does again. Unbelievable. He's going to buy back into the game. Stone Gaze here onto jabs. Chain stuns him down. 2 dead on Boom, but here comes the epicenter. Does Armel have the damage himself to take down this Sven? It's not enough. He pops the Satanic, continues to chop through the side of Boom, and he diebacks instead.
A 3v5 hold, getting 3 buybacks from Boom. They're gonna get the Roche for this, but they had some indecision there, man. They seem to be going in and out, undecided on how they should approach the winning fight they just took, and that cost them. It gave Liquid the chance to find the opening and just burst the Terrorblade down.
This is gonna be really close here. V-Tune comes in, gets the stun onto the silencer. He's not gonna get out of this one. He's dead, does have buyback. Now they did get the Roche. They cleaned up all the items and they will try and disengage here. A banner dropped on the high ground for Vision.
Liquid. Oh, they find jabs.
They do find jabs. Avalanche toss back. He's forced to BKB. Timber Chain back towards his base, and Earth Splitter is coming through, but will still be protected. They get the buyback out of the silencer, as Armel is still dead for about a minute.
There's no meta for a minute either. What's Liquid's choice? They can go for megas because all the tier 2s are down. Seems like that's the choice. They're working on the top right now. Sand King will be... I don't know. I think you can make your way bottom. Especially if you commit God Strength for it, but they might just back out after this. I think both are kind of understandable. Oh, actually, Sand King's buyback just came back up.
Yeah. I mean, at 30 seconds left, he does not want to have to pop it. They jump in, Taylor with a Hex, Nullifier's out, trying to get on top of Jackie Boys, but they go for the Shadow Shaman instead. A Hex will actually hold V2 down in place. He's so dang low. Armel with the refresher, the epicenter. He's going to try and pop this second with the Stone Gaze. Gets him again. He just bought back right into the grave, it would seem, as Saberlight bailing his team out with this Stone Gaze.
That's going to be megas, and that might also be the end of the game because you don't have this Sand King. We've seen how pivotal Epicenter has been to winning these fights. And you don't have BKB or God Strength, so the damage did suddenly drop for the actual tower push. But even if you're forced to back out of here, you've got megas.
Saberlight going in aggressive once again, just trying to keep them off of V-Tune. They do have this meta running. They do get some damage here as well onto this Timber Saw, just getting tossed back and forth. The Earth Splitter just destroying the backline, and now it's Timber 1v5. The tosses continue. This dude's on a roller coaster, just refreshing these constantly thanks to Boxy. That is gotta be it. Liquid will finally close out this game number 1 at 60 minutes. And once again, where we jump into the game, game number 2 of Boom Esports versus Team Liquid. We're gonna see Jackie Boys taking his Terrorblade once again, trying to get revenge for game number 1, get themselves the draw in this series, would put them in a good position. But if Liquid get the 2-0, they will snatch that 4th slot position from Boom's hands. So a big game for both teams. As a smoke now coming out from Boom Esports, trying to get some angle here, but Boxy in a really good position, trying to scout out any ward, doesn't see it. All right, so I got a question for you. Because the Magnus, the things you see a lot with this hero, it pulls people out of position quite heavily. Is that going to cause any issues for the Ringmaster saves? Like, does Insania need to go for like an early Force Staff or a Blink Dagger to like counteract the like skewer backs from the Magnus, or what's their game plan to deal with that, you think?
The battle begins.
I'm open to it if he wants to go for a Force Staff. Blink. First item Blink is extremely rare on Ringmaster, so I wouldn't expect that. But sometimes you can do, like, if you know your save is important, you can go Aether Lens and then even take the Escape Act Facet, and that alone, and you might even get a neutral that helps you. That gives you a lot of reach. And then at that point, if you just have a Force Staff, you almost outrange the Blink skewers of Magnus. So I think if you just start with something like that, it's good. It looks like they were trying to find a surprise 3v1 up here, but nothing given to them from Boom, so he's just going to make his way down. Get back to some normal laning. Blink Dagger on Magnus, I think is the first timing I'm really looking at.
Yeah.
He's usually a pretty solid laner, but you also got a Wind Ranger who's really good at double stacking. So should be set up for success there. Maybe the level 6 timing of the Kunkka could also help get you a kill early. Laying in the damage on Nisha's got to dodge his torrent. That's pretty close.
Yeah, the Deny actually just gave him level 2, funny enough. Yeah, a lot of damage out from Armel here.
Not the easiest lane for Ember to start. It gets easier as time goes on, and especially once you're 6, you have a little bit easier time making plays than the Kunkka. But the Tidebringer is very annoying for all melee mids.
Oh, he did go Void Blades. Okay, I just saw him Meld Strike a creep and it splashed to the Wind Ranger. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not right. Yeah, he went Void Blades on the TA this game as opposed to the Refractor, which we almost never see. Most people choose the Refraction talent, or the Facet.
Yeah, I wonder if it's due to the Magnus or to the Terrorblade that you might be able to hit all the illusions with the meld bonus.
Yeah. I wonder if that means he's planning on going Maelstrom.
I thought it only works on meld. Does it work on other things?
It might only work on Meld. Yeah, Meld bonus supplies.
I'm still okay with the Maelstrom because it's the Terrorblade. Though I think with Deso being ever so slightly stronger, it is something we just see a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Even in cases where in the past we might see the Maelstrom. It maybe also helps in the... I feel like Magnus is playing a lot of times after the first few levels, like, okay, I'm just going to empower farm. I'm going to shove the lane and go jungle. And you can kind of match that with Void Blades and the Meld Strike. Like, your wave clear also speeds up a little bit. So I feel like the usual facet also is good for that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Mid lane going very well for the Kunkka though. He is sitting quite a bit ahead here of Nisha. But one of the benefits of the Ember Spirit is the early bottle. Whereas Kunkka, a lot of times we see kind of just invest into some early bracers and stuff like that, which is exactly, he's got the double bracer, a wand coming out next.
Saberlight in some trouble top.
Ooh, that is first blood. Going the way of the support Tinker, which, I mean, either of these heroes getting first blood is really scary. The Tinker, a case that you can make is that this just gets him closer to his core items and closer to his level 6. Now, mid lane, Armel, he's going to die as a result. Tim's unable to close the gap to offer any assist here. Power shot on cooldown.
Yeah, the Sand King used a stun to try to get a CS, so they just immediately went aggressive. And like you said, good start for them. But I think that mid kill is actually a bigger deal because both these mid heroes can have a lot of impact as soon as they hit 6. And getting the Kunkka kill first really helps Ember to catch back up in XP. Some of these early CS, like there's a deny advantage for the Kunkka.
Yeah, I am curious to see how well that's going to go because they are just still keeping the Shadow Shaman mid to try and get a little bit more damage into Armel, but he's going to back away now.
Saberlight doing some new age laning over here. They're going to commit a sentry. There's a lot of creeps here.
He has to Burrow Strike away. Does manage to get out
okay
range of the bots. Yeah, so he's going to be okay. But he's really low on resources. He might just have to walk back to base. And while mid lane, Boxy's going to rotate in here once again. Power shot is there. They might be able to stop him, but there's no shackle from Tim's quite yet. In comes the Tinker. The blind actually just saved Armel. No way. Okay, that was a ridiculously good timed laser. Misses on the sleight of fist, and as a result, Armel will live.
And if he's lucky, he could even get a regen rune here, so he could just stay forever. They should have this rune secured with the Shadow Shaman kill. Gonna have to spawn. Oh my god. Spawns bottom as Instania walks in.
Ooh. That power shot very close to finding Nisha as well. I don't know how many times we've seen that, but been pretty something you got to keep your eyes open for. Tim's is low, and Instania with this amplify damage, I don't think you really want to be anywhere near this Ringmaster.
2 wards placed mid for Boom. You really want to put pressure here. Not allow these rotations to continue. Kunkka rotating bottom.
with an offensive salve to try and survive the tower damage, but now just gets pulled back in as Armel will not let him get away with that one. They do actually run into the Ringmaster here. I'm curious if they'll be able to find that because you do have X and the boat, but we're going to see them get aggressive instead for the Wisdom Shrines and Saberlight. You are not going to be able to stick around for this one. He's going to take a lot of damage. Does have a Burrow Strike. He is definitely holding his ground somehow. The Burrow Strike onto 2. Jackie Boy's forced to leave. Is there any way to stop this? Do they have sentries? They do. Finally, a sentry gets delivered and Saberlight will be forced to give it up.
He's got Burrow Strike again. He's thinking about going in. Especially as Instania TP's in.
They get the dagger here onto Jackie Boys. They connect, tame the beast, Burrow Strike aggressively. They got him.
Strongman tonic? Not quite enough. And Boxy's here to catch Januel now. Saberlight will die to the machine. But you get the kill on the Tinker. The good thing about that exchange is that although the Wisdom Shrine did get stolen by Boom, because the supports end up with the kills, it helps prevent that level disparity that otherwise would happen for losing the Wisdom Shrine.
Rune's going to spawn top.
Close.
Nisha had a Remnant ready to go, so he will pick up an Arcane.
Mouse lag. This is why I preferred wired mice.
Do people actually use wireless mice? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I see it in the player cams all the time. They like the wireless mice.
That's crazy, dude. Maybe I'm just a boomer. I don't know.
I think so too. I'm a boomer. I'm like, back in my day, we had a trackball at the bottom. I've already stepped up away from that using a wired
Anyone who
laser.
used the actual trackball, like, did you ever have a trackball mouse? The one with like, the
grew up
giant
with
ball
that.
as the thumb? Yeah, okay, me too. I used to play StarCraft with that.
Oh wait, no, you're talking about the trackball mouse, like with the
trackball with like a giant ball on your thumb.
I bought before. I never did this because I didn't like smurfing, but one of the ideas I had was to start a new account and play with that trackball and see how high I could get.
Holy.
Because you know people always want that like educational Smurf series, but like your mechanics are just way better to showcase the concepts that you're trying to teach. You're like, oh yeah, you should push lanes, but also I mechanically outplay everyone. I thought if I restricted myself with a trackball, it would balance it out. You know, really show how high can you get off of knowledge versus mechanics.
You should so idea trackball, but also Dota 1 classic keybinds. That would really challenge you. Yeah. I don't think anyone.
Anyways, I can't believe Saberlight plays with the trackball mouse.
Yeah,
just insane.
Some people are gonna be like, "I knew it." All these freaking Saberlight haters. I don't know why. Dude, I feel like they're like Liquid gets an abnormal large amount of hate as a squad, and I will never understand.
I mean,
they're such a likable team.
Yeah, but any popular team then also has a large amount of haters. It's how it goes.
True.
Every sport's like it.
That is true. See, if you're like me, you just don't like sports.
You like esports.
Yeah, I do like esports. That's true.
They're okay.
Regular sports, giga boring. As
no trackball mice.
Irony's not
at all.
lost on me, I promise.
There are timeouts in real sports.
Yeah, have you ever watched the last 2 minutes of a basketball game?
Or watched the last 30 minutes of a football game? American football?
Yeah, American
game clock's actually only 2 minutes, but they really make it. They really make it go.
You're like, oh man, there's 3 minutes left in this game. It'd be a real shame if it went for 30 minutes instead. Guess we're gonna go to another commercial break. Great stuff. Thanks. I love that. I'd love some American football with my commercials.
They don't even advertise trackball mice anymore.
Speaking of which, production, is it possible to get a replay of the Roche v. Roche fight that we had earlier? Is that a thing? Can we do? Is it even possible to do that? I don't think it is. Is it possible to get a replay of the Roche v. Roche fight that we had on the between game stream? I don't know if it is, but I am gonna ask because I know there were some interested parties.
I think it's just you.
Okay, you know, it might just be me, but why not?
I would like Roshan to be... Like, when he's moving, I want that to matter more. It doesn't feel like it does right now. It's very rare to ever see him throw anybody, but also for... Like, you can't even kill him while he's moving. But I think that would be really interesting if it was more feasible.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. All right, we're back into the game and ready to go. Now, I'm not going to spoil, you know, anything, but I did get some words from the production team, so we might have some exciting content in the future.
Find two heroes
here in the mid tower. Yeah, should be an easy chains here onto the Wind Ranger. Do get a little bit of barrier to bail him out. Now Torrent doing a little bit of damage. And with these March of the Machines, you might need to turn around, Boxy. This is an army running you down. Does have the foul play available, but
it's up.
They want to chase onto the high ground is the question. Torrent off the mark. He's going to try and deny himself, but he does get denied. Wait, Nishna's got the arcane still running. The boat's going to come through. Does Armel survive? He does not. He is dead, indeed. This is a huge stack of Ancients if they manage to steal this away.
It's a very slow steal. I don't think you can take the whole thing, but you do grab a couple while you're here. Like a lot of the smaller Ancients. Sticking around for longer is kind of scary. He does because he had an arcane rune. Okay, now you can try to steal it actually because you got a safety remnant down. V-Tune's on the way as well. Oh, actually gets through under tower though.
They have an RP, but you need more damage. It's gonna be Januel coming in as well as the Terrorblade. He's getting low. V-Tune is dead. A Chains will hold 2 back now as Jab's starting to kind of melt, but dude, this healing from the Tinker is insane. Power Shot will execute Insania, and Nisha has to run now as well.
In the end, they get kind of baited by this Ancient stack. They wanted to steal it, but the path V-Tune ends up taking allows him to be skewered under tower, and that baits the rest to try to save their carry. It would have been better to just leave that Ancient stack and continue on your way.
Now, that hindsight really coming in strong right now.
Facing some tower pressure, but not quite enough to actually lose their tower for now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
The other side, Sand King made use of this, starting to catch up. He had a bit of a rough laning stage. But the Blink Dagger is at 1,600 gold in the bank, so not too bad of a blink time once he farms some of the stacks already made for him. That'll make it a lot easier to start some of these plays.
We're gonna start seeing a Tinker problem this game. All 3 tier 1 towers are still alive. Tinker is level 6, almost level 7, an immediate Holy Locket already done. And he will be cleaning up these double stacks and this triangle on repeat.
Fortunately, there's a lot of teammates who also want to clear that. Like Magnus and Kunkka actually would love to farm these areas. So this is where you do want to maintain your own tier 1s. You also want to take the enemy tier 1 so that your team has space to go so that you get these back jungle camps. So that's going to be next on the list for Boom if you can organize a push. Maybe in that bottom tower, already halfway down. It also sets you up for the Tormentor later on. They might be waiting for Jabs' Blink before grouping up, so that's 1,200 gold away.
We see a fight here over this top rune. A lot of marches already out, but the Wheel of Wonder. Actually, Armel, he's going to survive. He didn't get pinned against this. They're trying to commit for Januel, and instead, Jabs with a huge RP onto 3.
Oh my god.
The Power Shot just deletes 2 heroes, and Nisha on the run with 17 HP, trying to escape his own reflection. And he will survive. Oh my goodness.
That was a nasty combo. We absolutely must have a replay of that. It's going to get them the mid tower. I was just saying they would love to find some towers. What a play. That wasn't even the blink on the Magnus. He just walked in, though I think he had a haste rune. Yeah, so they start with the fight. They're trying to get the Kunkka, but the Wheel of Wonder doesn't actually hit either hero, so they're both able to get their spells off, reposition, and then Jabs just skewers in for a triple RP, and they almost execute everyone here. I think Ember managed to dodge it at the last second with Sleight of Fist, and then barely survives that, but big win for Boom.
The actual heads up from Jabs there, he doesn't get the 3 hero skewer unless he shockwaved them first. So he actually shockwaved in a line between them to slightly pull them back in range as he skewered through. Like, that is such a heads up play on the Magnus.
I guess some space given to V-Tune in that time, so he is at least at the top. But a lot of momentum going to Boom off that last play. It's going to get the Blink Dagger on the Magnus up in just a moment. He needs like 50 gold now. And now the next RP, maybe looking at V-Tune. That'd be a great kill to get here since he is top of the net worth. Mid rune. Mids are fighting over the bottom rune, but it's a shield rune top that Nisha will make his way over to.
Shield Rune should do a lot of work here. I mean, right now, Liquid have this very farm Templar Assassin at the top of the net worth, right? But I feel like the Tricore on Boom is going to be pretty strong here for the next few minutes as you got the Blade Mail on the Kunkka. Jabs, I think, has his Blink Dagger, and they are smoking up right now.
Epicenter will easily kill a Terrorblade, but he's already headed over through the Twin Gate to get in position for not only this tower off their Magnus's Blink, but also the Tormentor right afterwards. It's a very fortunate move from Boom.
Yeah, they're not going to find the Templar Assassin down here. They definitely would have liked to, but
Dire's top tower is under attack.
might just be... Oh, mid lane. Epicenter comes out. The Fear, they will get themselves a kill. This one on to Tim's. Insania picking it up as the Wheel of Wonder pops. The trade will be for the Tormentor.
Doesn't feel great, but Liquid didn't feel they had the strength to come contest a Roshan into what I'm sure they expect the Blink to be up at this point off of that mid fight. The Blink RP, Bow, Terrorblade. It was a little too scary for them to go for it. So they'll get what they can in the mid lane, but getting the Aghanim Shard for the Wind Ranger, that Gale Force, be very good for them this game.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about maybe struggling to actually catch heroes on the side of Liquid. That's why one of the reasons they picked up the Magnus, but an early Gale Force will also cause some problems.
Just gotta be careful. Some of their spells are a little slow, so you just gotta be careful not to, you know, Gale Force them out of Boat and Torrent. But
yeah, it's true.
I'm sure they'll be okay. You see like a Skewer come in, and then they all get pushed out to the side.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They never managed to find a Blink kill with the Magnus,
Dire's top
but the
tower
threat of it got them the tower and the Tormentor. So I think that's an okay, you know, Blink reveal in that sense. But it's still available, so they're on the hunt.
I think this kill on the top side would be pretty huge if they can find Terrorblade, but he's not an easy one to grab either. He does have his own Blink. Immediately Burrow strikes to safety and will TP back home. They'll put some aggressive wards top side here to see if they will find another hero, but not going to happen. Ringmaster, hold up. Through the Twin Gate, he's safe as well.
Nisha found Jackie. Don't think you can
Who's
actually
found
do this
who
on your
here?
own, though. That's true, actually. Nisha losing half his health instantly. Has a Remnant down. Once he gets caught off guard by the Shackle, doesn't connect. Just far
The
enough
rest
from the
of
trees.
Liquid is coming, though. Like, Boxy nearby gets the Shackles. Insania is here as well with the Wheel of Wonder, and that will just taunt up the Wind Ranger. She's dead. Now they've got to get aggressive and find more. Jabs on the backside of the fight here. Forces an escape, and, well, Boxy actually just TP's out in the center of it, so good stuff here from the side of Liquid. That's meta down and a full rotation bottom.
And that rotation will give enough time for Nisha to get the Radiance before the next fight's forced. He just needs about 500, 600 more gold. This comes back to their the initiation for Boom not being the easiest. That actually could have been a kill onto the Ember Spirit, but Shackle just barely not connecting to another tree.
Mm-hmm.
Dire's top tower is
Trying to
under
find Box there, but quick movement. Actually dodges out with the Blink.
Got
That being said,
Liquid or
Jabs is
Boom
standing
fans in
right
that.
under a trap. Tims will get the D ward here, but the Blink Epicenter, yeah, sometimes a TA trap is all you need. That will find their opening. They take down the Magnus as they will continue to
Another
chase for
trap.
more.
Armel.
He's gonna get caught from a dagger, and well, Genwell
That's a
will be
trap
here
piece
on the
Tinker.
Tinker. He's under a ward completely. The Meld Strike hits too. Now Armel on the run. A Wheel of Wonder completely block off the backside, and Boxy has trapped Tims. He's gonna be forced to pop the Wind Run, but Armel, he's tanky, but not tanky enough. It's 3 dead. A really good series of kills here for Liquid, as they will be able to finish off the tower as well.
I think Boxy might have actually had chicken fingers available to cancel Tim's TP But either way, still an amazing fight. I think all of those set up off of traps. First to see the Magnus, then the Kunkka, then the Tinker. That's the strength of this hero. TA just, you never know, right? You can put the traps in different places and you can put them in weird spots because it's not an observer. You don't need, like, there's kind of set places where observers are good, but traps can be anywhere. So fantastic play from V2, and he got the early shard as well. So not only seeing those heroes, but silencing them up. Gonna get a fast MKB on the TA too. Kind of like this because you already know the Radiance is being worked on by the Kunkka, and then Terrorblade likes to buy Butterfly, but also just a really high armor hero. So if you can bypass some of that with magic damage from an MKB, you have a better shot at killing him when you're trying to burst him before you can get that Sunder out.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I wonder if she'll go for the Revenant's Brooch this game, or if we'll see kind of like the Daedalus eventually, but, or I'm sorry, the Daedalus and the Revenant's Brooch, but game's still very close, 10-12, similar to what we saw last game, right? Both teams finding net worth on the map. Top side, big epicenter here. They get the Terrorblade. He's dead. Boxy actually saved here thanks to some raindrops, and Tims will be able to walk away from this one, but you get the big kill. Terrorblade's dead. Epicenter plus the shackle is all you need.
I think that's some of the difference here. A lot of the kills, it's 11-2, but a lot of the kills that Boom has are on the supports. 8 of them are on Insania and Boxy. Whereas Liquid is finding the cores a little bit more often. 2 kills on the Terrorblade. Oh, finding a Tinker
he
kill.
gets the mech off, it'd be huge, but not too long of disables. And they're gonna look here for Armel to see what he can grab. They just TP out on one, and they just don't have detection for Saberlight. Well, they do. They have a sentry on Tims, but opt to not even bother going for him.
More and more plays going the way of Liquid. You know that's where Tinker wants to farm. And that he's likely to be on his own. That's the whole strength of it, that you don't need to have the whole team there. Good pick off. Yeah. And then they're actually still in the area, seeing if they can find anything. No Wheel of Wonder for 15 seconds.
Just a little bit of chip damage here.
A little bit more than chip
damage here. See you back in base, Tims.
Little chunk damage.
Radiance SNY nearly, SNY going to be the item here for Ember Spirit. Has the Sange on the courier.
I like it. We talked about the lockdown from Boom not being the easiest to land. Now you're playing into status resistance, which means even if you combo, hold that thought.
Immediate
double.
Go. Yeah, double stun here does catch jabs. They take the Wind Ranger out. Again, kind of set up off of a trap, scouting them. As the smoke pops, the Wheel of Wonder comes through. Jabs, he's going to be okay. Getting healed up here by the Tinker. And the question is, will they be able to turn this around? Stay back from Box. He's going to give Nisha plenty of space. As they do manage to actually find the Tinker off of a chains. Jenny well stuck around a little bit too far, and V-Tune will get the kill.
Yeah, that's one extra kill they're not supposed to get, and that's going to give them the confidence to keep looking. Aggressive move into the enemy jungle. No one's here, so you'll at least steal away their farm, and maybe place a deep ward if they have one available.
Dire are
scanning. Scouts out that they're going for Roche. They're going to commit the Serpent Wards to make sure this gets finished fast before the Tinker can come back. It's a pain to fight in the Roche pit into the machine, but that will not be an issue. We see another of the strengths of this Templar Assassin. Not only do you have the traps for good scouting to get you good fights, but once you win those fights, you've got the negative armor for any objective, towers and Roshan.
Oh, what a shackle from Boxy. Back behind the tower into a chains from the Ember Spirit. Atos is out. They're going to try and come in here on the Tinker, pops the mech, do his best to keep him alive, and Boxy, well, he is gonna burn. A little bit too aggressive, potentially, as the rest of Liquid not wanting to follow that one up.
Yeah, it was a bit deep. Everyone from Boom had to rotate in there, though. So side lane's gonna be pushed in by Liquid for now. BKB almost done on Saberlight. So they're reaching some strong items. You can wait for those with this Aegis. It's still got 4 minutes left. Line up a very strong timing. What's Ember? Still working on that Sange and Yasha. Needs about 500 more gold. Yeah, I think you just wait for these items and you'll have a strong push to get these tier 2s. What about Boom? Are they close to anything? Halfway to a BKB on Armel.
Magnus taunted up, in trouble again. Tries to get healed up here from the Tinker, and he does. But the chase going to continue. Nisha will not let that slide, and now Janwell back behind the tier 2 tower. It's just a double kill for the Ember Spirit. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Boxy fighting a battle of his own. Gets ripped down by Jackie Boys on this Terrorblade.
Again, though, like, you're trading kills, but it's the Magnus and the Tinker, which are far more valuable than a Shadow Shaman. So that seems to be the story of this game. You know, the target priority just working out a little better. Maybe that's part of why, you know, Boxy jumped in, V-Tune didn't hear him. He's like, oh, sorry, my bad. I could have helped you. Oops.
It's kind of like a funny, like, oh my gosh, Boxy, you know, LOL, as like chat typically will. But both those heroes had TPs and could have easily responded top if he's not making that play at the exact same time, right? Like, we could have seen Wind Ranger TP in there, get a potential Shackle, Gale, and like actually either bail out, you know, one, if not both those heroes. So, yeah, I mean, it's actually a legitimate play there from Boxy.
If you're not dying on Shadow Shaman, you're not playing Shadow Shaman. This hero racks up the death throughout the game. But the important thing is making sure those are meaningful deaths. Like that last one, like you said. And you're still just waiting for the item timings anyhow. It's not like you needed to do anything else.
I feel like Boom needs a gem and soon. It's one of those things that, like, when you're playing against TA, you need to get one eventually. And I'm not really sure exactly when that's going to be, but I feel like it's got to be sooner rather than later. You cannot have another scenario where that Magnus just is standing on a TA trap and dies as your initiator.
He needs 200 gold for his BKB, but Liquid is on the way now. They have their items.
There is a ward that will see Nisha, but here's the TA traps once again, potentially setting up another grab here onto this Wind Ranger. There's the Shackle and the pushback. Tim's with that Wind Run might escape as the two blink after him. So good play there from Tim's, able to escape and dodge out this gang. But
That's just huge because Liquid is set up to win a fight right now. The fact that you can dodge out. They're actually not checking this cliff either, so Boom sees a lot of this happening.
yeah.
Now walking through another observer ward. Alright, the fallback for the Tormentor, Boom will not be able to contest this, but this gives them the time to finish the items they need. This is the BKB done on Jabs, just delivered. The
a good one.
BKB for Kunkka, I think, is also on the way. Yeah, okay, it's on the courier. So those items would have been absolutely critical in the upcoming fight, and why it's so important that they managed to dodge out that last one. And now you just dodge one more minute, and then the Aegis will be down.
Yeah, they did just get Spotlight, though, and you mentioned this early on, even in the draft, that Spotlight quite good against heroes like Terrorblade. They will find the Shadow Shaman Boxy, tanking the gank here potentially for Saberlight, but actually he ends up getting found in the trees. Escape act out from Insania. The Gale Force as well, kind of just pinning him in place. The X will pull him back, but he's going to be forced to BKB instead. A spacing Wheel of Wonder there just to try and prevent Boom from getting anything else in this fight. General constantly getting hit from these daggers.
It's really annoying, but not annoying enough to make you back off when you've already killed Boxy.
Well, you say that. They're going for V-Tune. They have an aggressive ward. The RP comes out. The skewer pulls them back. There's 1 second left on the Aegis. It's going to expire. And there is that Gale Force pulling them back. There's the Shackles. Big epicenter comes in from Saberlight trying to delete these heroes. Where's your Sunder? It's onto your ally, Tims, as V-Tune continues to run. And they don't have detection anymore. He's gonna survive a 2-hero Burrow Strike from Saberlight as Boom crumbles behind the tier 2 tower.
You asked earlier, when you have this Magnus who can skewer your team back, will you be in range for the escape act save? Insania has built an Aether Lens and a Force Staff, so he immediately zips in there to save the TA at the start of this fight. You see her right there exiting the escape act. That buys enough time for this massive epicenter to come in the back. There is a Sunder save, but he still can't get out of here at this point, and they don't have any detection for V-Tune in the back. If you could at least get that kill, right, you feel a little better about this, but another great Burrow Strike from Saberlight. All the control lets V-Tune clean that up, and now you're here taking a tier 2 with these Serpent Wards. V-Tune's had time to heal up. He's about to rejoin. I don't think you get more than this, but this was pretty much handed to you by Boom for that aggressive play.
Yeah. There is, you could not have asked for a better team, like, option for a team fight there on Liquid. The fact that there's no dust left in the tank, because like, you're behind a tier 2 tower. Like, you're not going to have your supports able to get there, right? So, very good stuff there from Liquid to respond as they did.
Dire's top tower
Insania now has the Blink as well, and he did go for the Escape Act talent, so massive save range on this Escape Act. Ember is getting real close to a Shiva's. That is a very strong item versus a Terrorblade. V-Tune has decided to go for the Daedalus rather than the Rev.
Oh, that Burrow Strike catches the Tinker. One of the biggest pickoffs you can find as he does so much for these team fights. I mean, it's just been such good grabs. And Saberlight, a lot of the times, him and Boxy are the ones that are actually finding this Tinker.
And the fact that you have these types of catches is so important versus the Tinker. You have so many blinks on your team.
Oh man,
this is how you find him. And maybe you just walk into Armel.
Yeah, Armel's forced to beat KB immediately. They were gonna try and find the Magnus, but he TP's out as well.
I hope we see the Meld Bash. Like, he already has the Void Blades, so at 25, Meld Strike applying a Bash would be huge for V-Tune. No more BKB TPs in front of his team. None of them have a way to cancel that type of stuff. But for now, they'll just try to wait for the Roshan. I guess they know when it's going to be up. They've got the TA. I feel like suddenly it's a 15k gold lead. It was close for so long, and then
that fight in the top tier 2, it jumped to 11k immediately. Like that fight actually swung so much momentum and gold for the side of Liquid. Now bottom lane, Nisha will find a Wind Ranger sitting right on top of a trap. No Wind Run quite yet, and Tims is just dead once again.
places an observer, but I don't think he noticed that they just bought the gem. Insania passes it off to Ember, so an immediate D-ward on that observer. Kunkka's hiding in these trees over here. Might be hoping to creep cut later on.
Liquid have pretty much full control of the map, it feels like, and they're just going to wait out for this Roshan, right? We'll see when they start moving their way over, thanks to the TA. I feel like with their positioning, it's spawning very soon here. Actually, they do find the Magnus for a moment. Terrorblade actually comes in, just drops the Burrow Strike on top of him. He might be in a rough spot, but the Nullifier comes in. He's got to get the Epi. He's looking for a skewer back, but Jabs, he just can't make up his mind. And now the Burrow Strike's found Tinker as well. He's dead. Jackie Boys scouted by the Spotlight as they chase for more. Thunder does come out at the last second. It grabs Nisha, but can they actually finish the job? They're going to be close. They do get his life, but it's going to cost you Jackie Boys in the process. An escape act, bailing out Boxy as well. Insania is doing so much work on this Ringmaster. 4 dead for Boom. An incredible fight once again.
Talked about the ease of execution at the beginning of this game. You just press your stuns on Liquid. You know, you jump in Hex Shackle, you jump in Burrow Strike. That's pretty much what won them the fight here. They were able to go in, deliver the damage, but the RP was not able to connect. He wasn't sure where to use it once they started the fight. You see how many heroes are low on Liquid, so if they had even been able to RP 2 heroes, that fight could have gone completely differently. But that difficulty in finding the exact right jump, that extra pressure.
He has Yules.
Oh no. Gonna bleed another hero here.
He can do it again. Does he have a Burrow Strike? One? No, so close. Okay. He tried his best. But you're right. Yeah, continue what you're saying about the fight. The Magnus RP.
He just didn't use it. He had a hard time. I thought he was gonna RP the Sand King. I think he decided, Sand King's already used his stuff. You know, I guess I gotta go somewhere else. But then by the time he rejoined, right? He's dead. Yeah.
It's like you stop the epicenter if you RP him, and maybe that's worth it. It's hard to make that decision in the moment because you want to RP and skewer someone towards the Terrorblade, and he just couldn't skewer because he's BKB'd up on the Sand King. So maybe he like RPs him, and it stops the epi, but then you know he'll still just epicenter afterward. I don't know. It was a hard decision and ends up resulting in no RP and a lot of deaths.
I think they lost their gem as well, so now they're going to struggle into the Templar Assassin wards. Also Templar Assassin herself, because she now has an Aegis.
Daedalus done now as well. V2 will buy that out as he gets the Aegis.
Every coin helps.
As they're looking up here, they know someone is nearby. It was the Kunkka, but he's made his way back to the base. Aggressive ward sentry place here from Insania.
At least got Power Shot, March, and X to really drag this out. You do have to be careful. I think there was a Yules on Sand King, so gotta be a bit careful about walking out of the base with X. Got 4 minutes to find a pickoff and then delete the enemy's base though. So Liquid just gonna be weaving back and forth, setting up the wards, sweeping with the gem, placing more traps. And they're just gonna patiently look to find one of the Boom heroes just a little too far out of the base.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire are scanning.
Time to sweep top. Boom will head bottom in this time.
Back and forth we go.
I think that's some of the power of Void Blades right there. I don't think you kill all those illusions if the meld isn't applying to everything.
Dire are scanning.
Now, I was wondering if we'd see a Revenant's Brooch on TA. She did go Daedalus. I think BSJ made a video on this where there's a certain threshold of armor where the Revenant's Brooch is better than Daedalus. And I think TB is there, but everyone else is below where the Daedalus is better. So, trust me, it's important to kill the other heroes. Yeah, especially when you got like the epicenter and everything. They're gonna easily get Armel here, rewarded for sweeping back and forth. It's not like you can't just sit in your base on Boom. You'll fall back. People have to slip out like Kunkka was trying to. But eventually, you might get caught, and that will now give a window over to Liquid. You can at least try to force the buyback, but maybe you can look for a bigger fight, which is actually Boom. They're trying to catch Liquid off guard. You think we lost our Kunkka and we're playing scared. They're looking for the Sand King.
Finding Sand King would be huge, but who can initiate? Like, how do they find him? And instead, they have to TP back. V-Tune's on your high ground. They've dropped the banner as well. Do you have the Ags on Magnus? You do. Okay, so you do have Horn Toss Skewer. The problem with this is you might need to BKB beforehand because Boxy can just be sitting there holding the Hex button down.
Oh, he is.
So we'll see if that happens or not. The insta-Hex, always a counter to the Magnus Skewer back, so whenever you're in this position, you are ready. There's the, yeah, they're just so ready for this. You're not gonna get out. Oh, that hurts. Thunder will save him. They do have another chance at this. Jabs will have his BKB, but you're gonna lose a lane of barracks.
That wasn't even
pop
blocked.
to create TA trap. Yeah.
Yeah,
TA
that was
trap
V-Tune
interfere.
protecting himself.
And that's the thing. If he's not BKB'd, it's easy, right? You can do that. So, I mean, someone did it. It's like you share a lot of times. You share control on Templar Assassin to pop the traps. So like someone on Liquid did it, but
Sandy got tipped. Perhaps it was him.
yeah. I mean, they can try again, but
45
will they
seconds
be
on
able
the
to find
Aegis.
their target? TA's just always making sure to stand on top of her traps. And with 30 seconds left on the Aegis, like you said. Looks like, I mean, I feel like Liquid need to, I mean, maybe they don't need to. They're still very far ahead. I feel like they should be able to get more out of this Aegis.
You also don't have to. I think you saw death there when the Magnus blinked in, and you fortunately get the trap off so it doesn't lead to much, but you recognize, okay, yeah, I can still be RP'd and skewered back. He's going to learn from this. He's going to BKB next time. So do I need to take that risk right now with this big of a lead? Not really. You saw them sweep back and forth. If you look at their wards, it's amazing. It's covering like so many different entrances along with the traps. So it's very difficult for Boom to move out. They have to smoke every time they want to try. And at some point, you stop seeing heroes and you go, that's suspicious. And you start playing carefully. So time should favor you on Liquid. And I don't think they have to feel pressured to go too fast. At least through the next Aegis, they can wait for that. Beyond that, as you get into the ultra late game Dota, yeah, maybe you should feel a little bit more pressure at that point. It is still a Magnus, Tinker. The scaling is here. Terrorblade, always a hero that can kill you with meta.
Kind of an interesting idea here. They're struggling to actually reliably hit the high ground, so Boxy's gone for the Aghanim Scepter. Which, I mean, they can clean these up somewhat quickly, but if you have to, like, commit onto another hero... Oh, wait, I don't know why I'm saying...
Different
like,
one. Yeah, this is the old...
Yeah.
This is now the
Aether Shock
Shackles.
one. Wait,
and
hold
I think
up.
he's doing this to kill Terrorblade illusions.
Yeah. I forgot, dude. I completely forgot about this change. But it also...
No one does it.
On the other hand, if you're sitting on the high ground and you're shackling your ally, kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you can use it on your ally.
Yeah, you just shackle your ally who's on the high ground.
Yeah, whoever goes in, it's really good AoE damage. And you can do it from really far away, like you said. Do it on an ally and they go in.
The real question is, does it
Ember
persist? Yeah, it's like, does it persist through Ember's Remnant? I doubt it does. But if it does, that's hilarious, and I want to see it.
Well, you can do it on Sand King, too. So, I mean, there's tons of options here.
Radiant are scared.
Or he just wants to farm.
That's also a possibility. I mean, speaking of the scaling, right? Shadow Shaman, one of the best, even with the change to his old Aghanim's Refresher. Refresher's still good.
Yeah.
Wind Waker is still good. Right, there's a lot of scaling potential to go.
BKB, very good.
Can you blink Yule's Armel?
Oh, he went for the Burrow Strike first. Well, that's a nullifier. Quick kill onto Tim's. Nisha just deletes him from the game. An aggressive jump in. They actually find the Magnus, taunted by the Wheel of Wonder. He's dead for 60 with no buyback. In comes another epicenter from Saberlight, and Jackie Boys never gets the chance to sunder. 4 dead in just a blink of an eye here for a Boom. And it is not looking good.
They're gonna buy back the Tinker.
They buy back on Botsky. They want to end this.
Yeah, no Magnus RP. I guess you don't know he doesn't have buyback, but as you start taking these buildings, you're gonna get a better idea. You're at least hoping to get any of the core buybacks, which Terrorblade does have his.
He popped his meta though. So you don't have meta for Terrorblade. Like, this is really rough. The Void Blade does manage to catch the Tanker on the backside. The Nullifier out as well. If they can bring him down, it'd be huge. They did manage to get some buybacks. V-Tune on the run, getting chased in. There's the power shot to secure the kill. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The Kunkka gonna buy back into this as they're doing their best. Nisha is just killing heroes in his own game back there. Shadow Shaman, gonna be a dieback on him. Now they've really got to get this Ember Spirit, but can they do it? He's got no remnants left. Jabs, RP comes out, Torrent to follow. Can they actually do it? Nisha's dead. Also without buyback.
What's happening?
I don't. I mean, hold on.
I was gonna say, like,
they're gonna turn. Wheel of Wonders, Saberlight with this.
What is happening?
Can't believe it. Oh my god, a dieback on the Terrorblade. Insania and Saberlight.
That's actually so important to get right there. Because otherwise, Boom has 2 options. Just run it down, and you don't know the buybacks, but you can try to equalize the buyback, and when they're not there, you actually end up taking a whole bunch of buildings. Or you could get Roshan, which is the 4th Roshan, so now you're going to have to deal with RP, Refresher, and everything. But managing to kill Terrorblade there, chain stun him in the Wheel of Wonder, do all the damage to the axe. He's even TPing out in the middle of it. He just knew. He's like, yeah, this is enough. We got it. Gets out of there in time.
Level 25 Sand King. Feels good,
yeah,
man.
Absolutely insane.
So now, after this, like, Saberlight actually has a lot of room to grow. He's going for, I think, Wind Waker. But I mean, if he really wants to scale his damage, he could still go for something like the Revenant's Brooch or the Daedalus himself. He's having a great game.
Earlier, though, so I mean, that was a hype kill from Saberlight. But actually, before that, Liquid did slip up, right? Getting into too deep into the base. I guess wanting to force the buyback and succeeding, but even without meta, especially with a Magnus, the Demon Zeal plus Empower is still insane damage, and if you go too far in, you can be killed. They didn't even have the Empower because Magnus didn't have buyback, but still got the Terrorblade in position to do a lot of damage in that fight, and you end up losing your TA. So they're gonna be more careful moving forward on Liquid, I have to imagine. They're gonna start with getting the Aegis back on to the Templar Assassin. Ember Spirit now has a Refresher Shard to work with. I don't even know what he's going to swap in for this to make it work. That guy, Nisha, is absolutely slotted with active items right now.
It's actually, I don't think it can be understated how important that, like, solo pick onto the Terrorblade there is. They were 32,000 of gold ahead. It swung down to like 20 immediately. And they would have been able to very easily take a full lane of racks with the 3 heroes that were dead. Like, they could have brought this game back to like a 15k net worth disadvantage, and then maybe fight for Roshan. Like, it would have been like doable for sure.
Yeah, instead Liquid remains in control, but a little bit more careful, I imagine.
Yeah.
The Wind Waker still a little bit off on the Sand King if he wants to save buyback, which you absolutely should when you've seen what can happen in this game. Everyone should start to save buyback at this point. it's actually not that different from earlier. You still want to play it carefully and get a pick off. You've even been reminded by Boom that you can throw this into the Magnus, into the Terrorblade, but if you successfully find that pick off, that could be the end of the game because so many people on Boom had to use their buybacks. The only one available is the Magnus now.
Oh, they actually get the BKB out of Saberlight. The Yules doesn't connect before Armel gets X back. As the wards will be drop top, starting to chip away at the tier 3 tower. He's daring anybody come forward. It will just be a bunch of illusions from the Terrorblade, but they do crack the tier 3. And again, Jams looking for his horn toss target. The RP is there. He did get the BKB off this time. Now, the damage, it's not there to finish off the kill. And Saberlight just going in here. Shackled up as well by Boxy. The Aether Shocks did a ton. They managed to get the kill onto the Tinker as they continue to work on the base. And he did pop the refresher, so Saberlight will have a second attempt here. As Nisha still has that refresher shard in his backpack.
Tinker provides so much sustain in this fight and damage because he went ag at him. So not having him for a minute, it's really tough to take a fight here. You have to skewer people into your fountain. I don't think you can fight this bottom racks. I think you have to wait for them to come for your ancient, which actually
They're just gonna go straight for the ancient.
Go straight for it.
And they know there's no buyback. Skewer back, gets the Ember Spirit again this time. Hexed up, Horn Toss. Do they have the damage? No, it's not there. And the Ember, as well as Saberlight, just destroy the whole team.
Dead in the fountain.
In the fountain. It belongs to Liquid. The T-Wipe Liquid finish it in fashion as they will take a 2-0 here over Boom Esports.
That's twice